Hello everybody, this is Chris Birdo, MonkeyDude1313, and this is a nearly complete master set of Phantasmal Flames. The most recent set, a very, very tiny set, and we're only missing 2 cards. So let's flip through the binder and find out which those are. I have a stack of Megas, the older Megas, that we can compare and contrast with the current ones at the end of the video. And then I have this binder, Charizard Binder, obviously, because this is the Charizard set, and I'm a Charizard fan. So we got to pull out the Charizards when necessary. But without further ado, let's just jump directly into the set. So, tiny set, very, very small set, which I'm happy about, obviously, because that means more people can collect more of the set more easily. Prices for the set will probably be lower, although it's a Charizard set, so whatever. But you know, in general, small sets, good sets. We had the Sun and Moon sets that were massive and the Sword and Shield sets that were massive, and I think people just generally had a hard time collecting those. Alright, I want to quickly pull out Half Art Charizard. Can't skip over him. He is namesake of the set. Fantastic card. Absolutely wonderful. Very, very happy to get another Charizard. And I also wanted to draw attention to this Charcadet specifically, because this Charcadet is by an artist named Tomokazu Komiya. And this Friday, in 2 days from now, I will be uploading a Featured Friday, a new series I'm starting, and it will be covering all of the card arts from this artist. So we have just about all of them, and so I've compiled them all into a binder. You'll see this guy in there when we get there, and it'll be really fun to go over his primitivism art style. Fun! Alright, keeping it moving. We got some more cards here, and on the next page we are going to have the Murkrow. Here we go. And this Murkrow is from the same artist, Tomokazu Komiya. So, very excited to go into those. I really love how kind of wacky the art style is. And he has been drawing cards for the Pokemon TCG since 2000. So that's going to be fantastic. He is in the Neo Genesis set, I believe, with Slowpoke. Very, very fun. Very cool. Looking forward to that. I'm going to pause here real quick as well to mention this Mega Gengar. Not only is Mega Gengar a fan favorite Pokemon, but also we did not get a full art, an SIR, or anything of Mega Gengar in this set. This is the only card art we got of Mega Gengar. We have some spoilers that we are getting an SIR Mega Gengar, probably also getting full art Mega Gengar EX in a later set. So for now, we're just going to have to be happy with this guy and enjoy the pre-made battle deck that came out with Mega Gengar in it. Alrighty, Mega Sharpedo making another appearance finally. We only have 2 other cards for Mega Sharpedo ever, so that'll be neat to see at the end of the video. And we get to keep flipping through some of this wonderful art. Going a little bit faster because I know people are more excited for the SIRs. But this Duraludon I will pull out here. This artist has been getting a lot of love recently, Shinji Kanda. They did the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, which I did in a video 2 days ago on Master Set Monday. So if you guys want to see that Magikarp, go check that out. Otherwise, you can go and look up the artist Shinji Kanda, who has made some real eye-wateringly fantastic art, but he only has made like 20-ish cards. So, very small artist spotlight, but very cool artist. Alright, so this is the first of the grand reveals. We got 5 IRs here. Ludicolo is one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 3, and so I love it every time Ludicolo gets love. He's just such a happy guy, and I have great memories of fighting Mirror B in Pokemon Coliseum. So, what's not to love about this guy? He's just vibing. He is the definition of vibing, I think. Next up, Nimble. I'm not going to bother pulling him out. Nimble is Nimble. It's Bug. But what is not Bug is Dugong. This art is fantastic, and I really feel like they intended for the background pattern of like the Aurora Borealis type lighting to mix really well with the holo patterns. So I think they did a fantastic job at making this card feel like the holo is intentionally part of the art rather than just kind of existent on top of the art. So very cool to see an underloved Pokemon get some representation like this. I love it when we get more cards for more Pokemon. A Pokemon that is very popular, on the other hand, and one of people's favorites from this set, is the Piplup. I can't tell if he's sad or happy or just chilling, but he is under this little snowbank here, and looks like he is just out of the cold. given he has an attack call for support, I'm going to assume that there's some amount of concern here. Maybe he's lost, or maybe he just lost his friends or family, but either way, absolutely love this Piplup. Alright, Yamper. Yamper has a growing fan base, and when you have cute doggo on bed, how can you go wrong, you know? So this card is very cute and very wonderful, and very affordable. I recommend you go out and buy 10 or 9, you know, fill up a binder page. Love it though. All right, so this next flip is the other grand reveal from the set. Boom. All right, so we have more IRs here, 8 more of them. We have a bunch of full arts, and then this is one of the first cards we're missing. I will put it up on screen now. We are missing the full art Empoleon EX. So I should mention, we bought 7 boxes of this set. 1 sealed case, 1 booster box, and then I think we bought loose maybe 18 packs. So, oh, and 2 of the Charizard UPCs. So we've opened a lot of packs, and the fact that we still haven't got this Empoleon full art is kind of surprising. We also didn't get this Mega Heracross full art in any of those packs, so we had to go out and buy the Heracross, and we will eventually be buying the Empoleon for ourselves. We pulled 2 of this Charizard, we pulled 2 or 3 of this Meowth, and overall we were very, very happy with our packs. What we were most happy with is on the next page, but we'll get there when we get there. So, let me pull out this guy, Zacian. So just Zacian, not Zamazenta, but if you looked at a recent set, Destined Rivals, you'll see that Zamazenta, without Zacian, got an IR there. So this is kind of evening the scale, making sure legendary duos get relatively equal time in the light. Flygon, another fan favorite card. I like the drawing on this one, but there's not all that much to talk about. It just looks great. Got a nice little Lotad down there hanging out, a Vibrava directly under the word wind there, and just very nice art. Very nice art indeed. This Paldean Wooper originally came out in Chinese, and this was in a sealed promo pack along with the Chinese version of this Meowth. Oh, no, Japanese. Yeah, I think Japanese. So this Wooper and this Meowth came together in a promo, a little sealed bundle thing. But this Wooper is great. Absolutely love it. And if I recall, this is the very opening path in Scarlet Violet, where you go down to see your first Pokemon Center ever after fighting Nimona. Neat. Love it, love it. Toxtricity. Not too much to say about him. He's just a cool guy. Hanging out, having a good time. We can see that there is a Zangoose poster back there. And we got some other Pokemon references, like this Rocky helmet on the right side. Togedemaru. Another card that I think is very slept on right now. Another card I'd recommend you go out and buy a bunch of. This guy is adorable and like $2. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, Wigglytuff. What I like about this Wigglytuff is that it really gives me the Do the Wave vibes from way back when Wigglytuff was introduced in Jungle. It had an attack for 3 colorless, and it was called Do the Wave, 10 damage plus 10 more for each of your benched Pokemon. So, since it was Wigglytuff and a bunch of benched Pokemon to do damage, this card feels really reminiscent of that. So, I was very happy to get art that kind of reminded me of that in a modern but nostalgic way. Alright, easily my favorite IR from the set is this Meowth. Like I mentioned earlier, we got it in Japanese, and now we have multiple of them in English. This card is just glorious. I love the artist on this one. I love the posing. And the old style Pokemon Center here, and the old style house from Red and Blue. This is very obviously placing itself in the world of Kanto, Gen 1 Kanto. So, absolutely love it. One of my favorite IRs from the set. Alright, the inside joke Pokemon himself, Ambipom. My girlfriend and I found a, kids Pokédex ball thing, where when you press the button to open the Pokeball, it reveals a small screen, and it always just says Ambipom, because that is the first Pokemon in the Pokedex by alphabetical, at least as far as this thing is concerned. And so it just, when you press this button, it yells Ambipom, and we're happy to leave it like that. We have not done much else with it aside from let it yell Ambipom every once in a while. But this art, fantastic art, and it is surrounded by a bunch of different berries. And see if you can name them all. If you play Pokemon Go, you'll recognize some of these. But if you're also really deep into Poffins, for example, you might know some of these other ones. Or when you're trying to fight a particularly difficult gym leader or Elite Four member, and you need a berry to cut effectiveness in half. So very neat overall. I love the nice touch of all these berries. All right, we're into the full arts. I'm not going to pull them all out, but I will of course pull out Mega Charizard EX full art here. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very lucky to pull 2 of these, and the Charizard down here as like the shadow behind it, I think is a really good touch for all of these modern full art megas. So I'm really happy with the design choices they went with on these, and overall I absolutely love these. Of course, if it were up to me, I would have the texture be a little bit more textury like Gen 5 and Gen 6 EXs, but what can you do? All right, so as I mentioned before, we're missing the Empoleon, but otherwise we can move on to the next page. And this is the grandest of grand reveals with all the SIRs. And you will immediately see the lack of gold. This card right here is supposed to be the gold Charizard, Mega Charizard EX, and we are still missing that. So at the beginning I mentioned we're missing 2 cards. We're missing the gold Charizard and the full art Empoleon. But that's life, because we bought, we pulled 2 of these SIR Charizards. So let me pull this guy out. We can take an ooh and an ah at this guy. Looks absolutely fantastic. This one I believe is very gradable. The centering is very nice, a tiny bit right heavy, but otherwise not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I think now's a good time to take a short detour before we get to these last SIRs to go into the Charizard Binder. I'm going to skip over the Gumshoes tag, and we're going to go straight to this French Dragonite tag. So, Mega Charizard half art in the Charizard Binder. And now the last page has these guys on it. So, full art, a second SIR, the gold Charizard we're missing, and then the UPC. So first we'll pull out this Mega Charizard SIR, because I wanted to show you how hilarious and off-centered this guy is. So look at that big, thick border up there at the top, and this tiny, tiny little border down there. So this guy will not get a 10 based strictly on centering, regardless of any other issues it has. But, in my opinion, if you're going to pull 2 of them, and one of them ends up being like this, totally fine. Shove this one in your binder and love it forever, and get the other one graded. So that is almost certainly what we're going to be doing with these guys. But it's also as good a time as any to pull out the UPC Mega Charizard EX, and I think this art style is just fantastic. As we used to get back in the XY era, we have almost certainly the word Inferno X in Japanese here above the art, and if you were to go look at the Japanese version of this card, you see it saying either Inferno X or similar in English. So, a very cool crossover thing they do there. Alrighty, so that is the end of this Charizard Binder for now, and we can get back to the SIRs. Since we pulled 2 of the Mega Charizard, we also pulled the Mega Lopunny and the Dawn ourselves. We did not pull the Rotom and Mega Sharpedo. We had to pick those up from a local store called Degen. Fantastic store, great people. Always love going to their store. All right, this Rotom is fantastic to me. What's really cool is that the ability talks about having multiple Pokemon with the name Rotom in it, and then it shows a bunch of Rotom forms here in the background. So it kind of is a great centerpiece for a Rotom deck. No idea if a Rotom deck will be good or not, but still very neat. Okay, next up, the Mega Sharpedo EX. Very cool card. His butt is even more of a jet than it was before, and he gets extra teeth on the side of his face, and he gets these really cool yellow markings that he did not have before. But I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of Sharpedo's design, but I think it's quite cool. Especially when you put it next to Veluza, the modern equivalent of Sharpedo, which is less exciting. Okay, Mega Lopunny EX SIR. Very cool card. It looks to have some very unique censoring going on, or at least trying to imply some amount of censoring, I think. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I just can't unsee it with the X's placed where they are so perfectly. But Mega Lopunny, I like to call it ripped yoga pants, because that's what it looks like to me. Alright, and finally, we have SIR Dawn. Very lucky to have pulled this one, as this is one of the more expensive ones in the set. But no surprise that Pretty Girl Trainer is a very wanted card. So we can see in the background here a big forest, and I think there's a city back there as well. And then hanging on the tree there, let's see if I can get it to focus properly, there is a little Pokemon. I will let you decide who that is. But very, very neat. Absolutely love this card. Okay, so before we get to the reverses, which are all there by the way, I wanted to take a little bit of a trip back, and we can go through some of the older Mega cards we got. So, starting with Heracross, let me pull out these guys. This is the Heracross EX Half Art from Furious Fists, and its associated Full Art. Very beautiful card here. And then it's two Megas. We got the Half Art Mega Heracross from Furious Fists, and we got the Secret Rare Mega Heracross from Furious Fists. Can you tell the difference? It's pretty subtle. Gold border plus full gold text rather than the multicolored text on the right. But thought that would be neat to show off some old Heracross. And then since Mega Deontay did not get a full art in this set, let me go back to here. We have Mega Deontay. And I can pull out the two previous Mega Deontays. Deontay. We have this half art, which is XY43 promo. And then we got this Mega XY44 promo. Neat. Hopefully Mega Deontay ends up getting a few more cards in the future, because this brings its total up to 2. Yikes. Okay. Not to be underrepresented ever, like I mentioned before, Mega Gengar. Not only are we pretty much guaranteed to, well, not pretty much, not only are we guaranteed to get more Mega Gengars here in the near future, but Gengar being popular, they had no issue making a lot of Mega Gengar cards. So, this is XY Phantom Forces, one set after Furious Fists. We got normal Half Art Gengar. We got the Balloon Gengar from that same set. Everyone seems to love this card. Then we have Half Art Mega Gengar. We have Secret Rare Mega Gengar. And then we have the shiny promo Mega Gengar. So they had absolutely no problem printing a bunch of Mega Gengar cards. And with how popular he is, this does not surprise me in the slightest. Okay, well, we're here. Mega Sharpedo. We got one Mega Sharpedo card, or actually two Mega Sharpedo cards, which I will go over now. We got this Primal Clash Half Art Sharpedo with its full art counterpart. Very, very cool card. I quite like that. And it Mega Evolves into Mega Sharpedo, which is XY200 promo. So it's not even from a set, it is a promo. And it got a cool textured alternate art. And this card looks absolutely fantastic, in my opinion at least. Very, very neat. But I wanted to show off a little bit of an older card, even though it's not a Mega. We have the EX Deoxys Sharpedo EX Half Art. Love it. This is one of my favorite eras of cards, and I'm very much looking forward to making our Wishlist Wednesdays and Master Set Mondays for the EX series cards. So, let's see. Last up, we can flip back to the SIRs and talk about Mega Lopunny. So Mega Lopunny only got one other set, but it got 3 cards in that set, where it was tag teamed with Jigglypuff. So we got Jigglypuff and Mega Lopunny tag team half art, we got the full art, and then we got the Rainbow Rare. All of these from Cosmic Eclipse. A fantastic set. I love the Sun and Moon tag team sets at the very end of the era. Very, very awesome. Okay, so enough side chatter. Let us get to what I consider the main point of the entire thing, which is Charizard. So let's go back into the Charizard binder, but we're going to go to the Gumshoes marker this time, because I wanted to show off, similar to the other Pokemon, we have XY Flashfire Charizard Half Art, and XY Flashfire Charizard Half Art, and then XY Flashfire Mega Charizard Y Half Art, and Mega Charizard X Half Art. And then we have the full art Charizard EX from Flashfire, the secret rare version of Mega Charizard Y, and then with one quick page flip, we have the secret rare version of Mega Charizard X. So many, many cards representing Mega Charizard. There's another one there. That one's from Generations, I believe. Just a bunch of great Charizard cards. So no surprises there, but I'm not going to flip through the entire binder. I'm going to leave that off to the side. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. You know what 2 cards we're missing. Let's go through the reverses real quick. And as I always say, and as I will make a big deal about on Friday, pay attention to your bulk. Love your bulk. The artwork is fantastic. Who cares if it's worth 6 cents? You are almost certainly going to get more than 6 cents of enjoyment out of just looking at the card. Like, look at that. Would you want a mouse pad with that Yamper on it? I kind of would. I think it's adorable. Moltres sick. These Charmander Charmeleon are obviously incredible to me. I love the style, especially on the Charmeleon. That art is fantastic. Yeah, love it, love it, love it. All these cards just look fantastic. Very happy to have them. And these reverses really help round out a good master set. So, with one more page flip, we will be done with the nearly complete master set of Phantasmal Flames, missing only 2 cards. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what card from this set is your favorite. Did you manage to pull the SIR you were hoping for? Let me know that in the comments. Or do you have another set you'd like me to feature? Do you have a featured Friday idea you'd like me to look into? Because I'm not going to limit it to artists. Since it's featured Friday instead of artist Friday or something, we can feature anything. We can feature all full art trainers, all gold item cards. We could do all Wigglytuffs. We could do anything. Just throw it in the comments, give me an idea, and we'll see if we can make that happen. You know, do you want to see every single Ultra Ball that ever existed? You could. We could do that as a featured Friday. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.